Hey, great morning. So we're back on live. Wendell wants to jump on this morning. So we're going to have a chat. So Wendell, I'm live. Do your refresh and you'll grab your invite. So I'm just waiting for Wendell to hop on here. Anyway, so while I'm waiting, for all of those that missed the live this morning, set a high vibe. I hope you woke up grateful for your day. I hope you reminded yourself of all of the things that you have to be grateful for in your life. And, I hope that you're pushing past your limits. And I hope that you are evolving and growing and using any kind of, obstacle as an opportunity. I hope that you're, looking at your setbacks as a redirection. And I hope that you're taking a really good look at, everything that's happening within you, firstly, and what's around you and what you allow in and out of your life. And, the things that okay, good. Wendell's ready. Let me get him on. Great morning.
How are you?
I can't hear you. Hold on. Is it my volume? How you doing? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Just waiting for
Yeah.
the nurse to come take my blood because I can't do it at a clinic.
Oh, wow. Okay. So everything's good with that though?
Hey, listen, I was given another day, so everything's great.
Good.
That's how I see it.
Good.
I don't
Good
know
way
if the world's ready for me, but I'm ready for it.
to. That's funny.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Just chilled out this weekend, got some stuff done, cleaned up my place. That's about it. And I'm ready for another week. Start another week of training and yeah, back at it.
Said a high
Get back.
vibe.
What was that?
So you got to see Penny,
Yes, I did. It was very
and that's
nice.
why you were late the next day. You didn't show up on the live.
Yeah, well, we had a lot of catching up to do. I haven't seen her in like freaking what, 23 years or something like that. It's been a long
I
time.
know she reached out to me and said, "Hey, it could be my fault that Wendell's not on." I'm like, "Don't worry about it. I'm not stressed. Hey, I'm glad you guys got a chance to catch up." Like,
I mean, I'm blessed in that sense because there's a lot of friends that I haven't seen in a long time that I've actually been able to catch up in the last like year or two. So it's good. It's good. And actually, I was telling her that well, I think I told you a little bit about it too. Like in October, I'm planning on I would like to, make a quick trip down there to Montreal just for, you know, spend some time with my daughter out there and then some people's out there if I can get them,
well, if
visit.
that's what you're planning on doing, let's plan on throwing a get together kind of deal, like we'd
Yeah,
mentioned.
yeah, yeah. I remember you mentioning that. So yeah, we can work on that for sure.
Oh, and yeah, I guess it riled up all kinds of people with that thing that all I did was because my relationship status was hidden on my Facebook. And I put it this way, I got called out on it. So I was correcting it.
Okay. No, because I thought it was just funny because we were talking like, like all week we were talking about stuff like that and then all of a sudden your status changed. So I thought, I wonder if she was just talking to me about that stuff to kind of help her, make her decision or something. Because that's what it kind of looked like. But yeah,
No,
I
I'll
get
be I'll be honest with you, Wendell. This is what seems to be happening in my life, and I'm going to speak it. So I hope the ears that need to hear it hear it. This is what's happening. You know that over the past couple of months, I have been going through this roller coaster ride of a relationship. But it's because, too, he's transforming. You can't live
it.
with somebody like me and have that kind of pressure on you constantly and not be transforming. Now he is. He is. I see it. I see it. But while you're living it, you don't see it, right? You see the thick of the mess. Okay. So what has happened is we as adults and being 50 years old and realizing that we don't want to have to do this again with another individual
Hmm.
and we both are, yes, transforming very rapidly and things are happening, but we decided to stick it out and, say, hey, okay, we're both going through some really rough time right now, which we were. And it seems like if together now, both of us making the conscious choice of trying to make it better every day, it has become so much better because we're not going head to head anymore. We're working together. See, so we came to an agreement that we're both like just overwhelmed with all the changes, which is normal. But now if we could take that to fuel us for that solid foundation, yeah, it's happening. And I'm going to give it that chance. I'm not saying that it's going to happen, right? But for now, yeah, I'm sticking with it. Because you know what? There's a reason why I got with this guy. And there's a reason why everything has happened since it has. And I'm not gonna give up. I'm not gonna give up on myself in it, and I'm not giving up on him in it. Because we've come way too far. Like, seriously, Wendell, we've gone through things in the past year and a half that couples don't go through in 20 years of being together.
That's a long time. And it's also a long time to just kind of throw away also, right? Like you've invested
Well,
all that time. So like why are you gonna, you know what I mean? Like the slightest thing that just goes wrong is like, it's easier. Remember, I think I had a conversation with you about that before, or here before that. And that's why I was saying, like, it seemed like most of the stuff that I was saying, and then all of a sudden when your status changed, I thought, okay, maybe that's what was going on, because you were asking a lot of questions about that too. So yeah, it's so much easier. Like I don't get why. Like for some people, it's like, they you tell them what you want or how you want the relationship to go, and then they're like, okay, they might feel a way about it, but they just process it as, oh well, why do I have to live like by her rules or his rules? When in actuality, it's just a compromise. Like we said, that's what it's all about. So.
well, look, put it this way. I'll be honest with you, in where most of the problems have come from, and that is because he is no longer who he used to be, and it's very apparent to the world. He looks different. He is different. He stands different. He's a different man. Now, and this is not delusional on my part, there are women that have been in his life and watched him while he was a piece of shit, you could say. Couldn't have the time for him. Now that he has become who he has become after living with me, because that's what happens, eh? We change well, now all the women that seem to go around him that used to look at him like, and have even said it to him, you're looking great. And now are trying to get his interest, where once they never had any interest or care for this man. But now they see where he's gotten to. And now all of a sudden they want him. Hey, where were they when he was doing whatever he was and living the way he was and in that darkness? Nobody was there.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where a lot of the problems have come because of all of the continuous women that keep, oh, let me get him over here. A woman sees something that you have, she wants it. I hate to say it, but there's a lot of that going on right now.
Well, you know what it is too, is because, it's a mix of two things. So women back in the day, they wanted certain things, right? And now they've come to the realization that, oh, you know what, maybe that's not what I wanted. Now I want something different. So when they see that different now and it's there, regardless of if it's available or not, they try to seize it just for their own, like, I have to have that because I finally realized what I wanted. It's there. What if I lose it? That's the mentality I think that they're going through.
Yeah, but what's messed up is these are people that don't even know him like as an adult in the past 10 years. These
Oh, I
are
know. I have
people,
people.
you know what I
I
mean?
have.
Like and I don't understand it.
No, I have
I,
people.
I pardon?
I have. No, I was gonna say I have people that are coming at me like 20, 30 years later, you know, and they see that, oh, now I'm single. Now they're like, oh, hey, I've been thinking about you all this time, or I always had a crush on you, but you were with somebody, so I didn't say anything. Now that you're available, oh, destiny's calling, because that means that the energy is telling us that we should be together. Some people interpret activities to mean certain things, right? So I think in this situation that you're in, he may have, well, it doesn't even matter because I'm sure you build him up. So obviously he's getting the confidence that he's
Oh,
getting.
yes, I have built him up.
So now that he has that confidence and he's feeling good with the one person, because guys don't really do that. Like, I want to clear that up because a lot of women get this misconception that, oh, if the grass is greener on the other fence, then a man's going to go or whatever, right? I think it's more that whatever a man doesn't get at home and he's getting elsewhere that he wants to get at home, that's where the you know what I mean? That's where the like you said earlier, that's where the pulling is gonna come from. Because me personally, if I was with, and I think a lot of guys are like that too. So if I am with somebody and I have expectations of them building me up in a certain way, like you don't have to tell me every day that I'm a good looking guy or I'm gorgeous or whatever. But if you say something like, "Oh, I like your energy. I like how you treat me. I like chilling with you." Like that sort of thing is like, oh, okay. Whereas, if someone says, oh, you could do better with this, or you could do better here, and you could do better there, and you go out elsewhere, and a total stranger comes up to you and says, wow, you're really good at this, and you're really good at that, and da da da. So the guy's gonna be like, well, why am I gonna stay at home to get negative energy from this person that I've known a long time, and I'm getting positive energy from someone that I don't even know? You know what I mean? So now they're gonna lean more towards that person because that, women don't understand that that's all the guys want. All we want is that little praise, not to worship us. It has nothing to do with worshiping, but it's like just to give us that little praise that, what, hey, you look good. I'm happy that you're here with me. You make me happy. You please me. You this, you that. That's all we want to hear. That's it. Once we hear that, then we're like, oh, okay. And that's if we're really into that person, right? Like if we really care about that person, and that person tells us that, then I'm like, well, why am I gonna go elsewhere if she's happy with everything that I do? Now, we can flip the script. Some women have a tendency of just saying that to keep the guy there, and then afterwards they're like, oh well, I'm not happy anymore. And then it's just like, well, why are you not happy? Well, because I'm just not happy. you know but you told me last week that I my affection and everything was the best. And, oh well, yeah, I'm not feeling it anymore. So it depends on the person, obviously, is my point, right? So I think everybody has different ways of interpreting a man's behavior. But I'm telling you, as a man myself, that sorry, like as a man myself, we do not like we're not always looking on the other side of the fence. If we're happy with what in our area, we're gonna be happy in our area. When things change, we are like, whoa, what's going on here? We look at the change and we're like, okay, yeah, I can adapt to that. So they go with the change. If they're like, whoa, this is too much for me, like I can't handle this, girl's like bipolar or whatever, then okay, you know what, I gotta get out. And then that's when it starts getting complicated because they don't really. Me personally, if I'm ending off with somebody, I tell them straight up, I'm like, listen, this is not working. You know, Whereas some guys, they feel like they're scared to break a woman's heart, so they're gonna make it easier to have them break it off than that person. And how they do that is by going and doing whatever they have to do, whether it be cheating
Okay,
or
and that's what I assumed was happening in this situation here. Honestly, exactly what you just said. I assumed that, okay, you're not happy here, so this is what's going on because you want me to fucking throw you out.
right.
Well, I did throw him out, and he refused to leave. Simple.
Okay.
And I threw him out again after all of the more women crap. And again, he refused to leave. But what he did do was he stopped all chemical drugs. He stopped all hard liquor. He stopped being such an asshole with me. He's learning how to live sober. Never mind being in a relationship for the first, healthy relationship for the first time in his life, where somebody actually gives a shit about him.
Right.
So through that transition alone of dumping chemical drugs, hard liquor, and everything in a year span, all of a sudden working full time in a very huge position as a boss, doing so much change in his life from one
Yeah,
extreme to the other, Wendell,
yeah,
literally because of who's behind him. Yes, I'm not walking away. I'd be
mhm,
stupid to.
yeah,
And this is exactly what I thought. I had assumed that he was working against me. But no, he's trying to figure it out.
yeah,
So how can I expect him to be able to do for me all that I want when he's
right,
just figuring out how to live sober?
right,
And
yeah,
he's got me in his ears all the time. Hey,
yeah,
like, come on. And I'm not easy to deal with because at the first shot, I'm like, hey, you motherfucker, I got your ticket. Like, you know? So because I'm an empath and I feel more than people really like to tell me too, but
mm,
I thought that was that exact same reason.
yeah,
But I was wrong. I was wrong. He's trying to, like, he has done so much in a year, so
mm,
much to prove to me that he wants longevity with me.
yeah. And it's funny because with men, not to discredit men in any way, but it's harder for men to do like two intense emotional things at the same time as it is for women. Like women can do like three, four, maybe even five deal with five different emotions at the same time, and guys just can't even. We can barely handle two because I think it's just the way we're genetically made up. Some guys are. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying all guys. I'm just saying most guys, because there are some guys that can like, you know, I see them and they're just like, oh well, you know this happened and that happened, and I'm just like, wow, okay, and you're still, you're still like being positive about that, so that's pretty good. Whereas some women, like, I'll go to and I'll say, so what's going on with you? And they're like, oh, I got this and this and this and this and this and that, and I'm like, like, how do you deal with all that? Oh, I'm a mother, I gotta do. I'm like, okay, so it's like I get it. Like, sometimes guys, we have a tendency of not discrediting, but we're just not aware as to how much a woman goes through, right? We just think that you guys, the way you guys portray yourself on the outside, that's just the way it is. Because again, women are also good at hiding their emotions, right? If you don't want a guy to know where you're at emotionally because of the fear of being taken advantage of or being misunderstood or whatever the case may be, it's you guys have that talent where you can actually, there's times where I was dating women and I'd have to pull it out of them, and when they say it, I'm just like, well, why didn't you just say it? And then they're like, oh, well, I don't feel good about myself when I say these things. So I'm like, okay, that's an emotional thing, I get. So in this kind of scenario, like if a guy feels confident and he's really into somebody and women are coming at them, like me personally, if I'm with somebody and women coming at me, I'm like, hey, I'm a committed guy. I don't play around with that shit, you know. And I think of it in this way. It's like, what would my girl do? Like I would want to do the same thing that I'd want my girl to do, right? So if I'm in a club or whatever, or in a shopping center, and girls are coming at me, because if I'm dating an attractive woman, then I know this is gonna happen with an attractive woman, right? So if a woman comes at me, I'm like, sorry, I'm in a relationship, I'm happy, I'm not trying to play no games or whatever, and that's it. You want to be friends, that's fine, but there's a line, right? Once that line is crossed, that's it. Like I make it clear right off the hop because I have a lot of respect for my partner because I would want my partner to respect me. Now it doesn't always go that way, you know. I've had scenarios where my last girlfriend that I was with, she went to Montreal. She had like issues that she had to deal with or whatever. I'm not gonna call her out or whatever, but she had issues and she went to Montreal to see her sister. And then I went down to and I met her, and then her sister didn't like me, so I came back to Calgary. Not I didn't come back to Calgary because she didn't like me, but I just came back to Calgary because I had to do it. I had to do my own stuff, right? So then while she's there, Now there's this trust factor, right? Like I'm thinking, okay, she's good, in a week's time she's gonna come back, right? So then 1 week passes. Oh, I was gonna leave, but the kids have COVID, so I'm gonna stay for another week. I'm like, okay, whatever. So then it stays for another week. Then she comes back. I notice a little change in her behavior. Now, a lot of people don't realize that once there's a change of behavior in a relationship, that's when bing, 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 right? Like you
Oh yeah.
gotta address that right away, right? So she came out and I was just like, so what's going on? She's like, oh, I'm just feeling a little weird. And I said, no, 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 no. Like, what's going on? And then for weeks she kept like, oh, everything's good, everything's good. And then one day we were just chilling and she just came out and started talking. And then she said something about, oh yeah, so oh, like that time when I got up in my friend slept over and left in the morning. I was just like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And she's like, yeah, I told you this. I said, no, you didn't. Like, elaborate. Like, what are you talking about? Oh, well, I was feeling a certain way, and I wanted to talk to them about us and our relationship. And he came over, and he slept over, and he left in the morning, but we didn't have sex though. And I'm just like, okay, so why are you telling me this a week or 2 weeks after the incident? Like, why couldn't you just tell me right off the hop, or even before, just say, hey, you know what, listen, I just want to let you know that there's this guy, one of my guy friends are coming over. We're just gonna talk. I wanted to talk to him about us and so just so you know. And I'm just like, okay. If you would have went like that, I would have been like, okay, I wouldn't have thought about it. But the fact that after it was already done, because the way I see it is, okay, well, I feel guilty about all this stuff. I'm not going to tell him right now because I want to get some fun. So I'll just get my fun. And then afterwards, I'll tell him. So this way, whatever, if something happens, at least I already anticipate what the end result is, right? Some women think like that. Some guys think
But
like that.
what's funny too, though, is a lot of people just assume that if there's no physical touch, that there's no cheating, but that's so wrong. If you're emotionally turning to another person instead of your partner, you're emotionally cheating on them.
Yeah.
If you're
But I,
lusting over somebody and not your partner, you are energetically cheating on them.
but I know for a fact that something went down. And it's
No,
funny
but
because,
you see what I mean though. But about
yeah, yeah,
some,
I see
like,
what you
they
mean.
don't see it.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't understand the concept of it. They think they've done nothing wrong because there hasn't been that touch.
Right.
But where do you think that starts from?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, so I wasn't in a new relationship. I was just, saying, okay, yeah, I'm gonna stick it out. Yeah, I am. No problem. And yes, I will let the world know that I'm still taken. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
But, you know, I get, you know what I mean? We're just trying to get through our stuff, eh?
Hey,
Everybody's got stuff.
and that's fine. And you know what? And the beauty about it is that when you have somebody that you're interested in and they're going through stuff and you're going through stuff and you have that mutual agreement of working through things together, that's part of that bonding. That's part of that love shit because then when you come back, let's say further on down the road when you're both progressing, you both look back and say, hey, remember that time when we almost called it quits and we almost threw in the towel, but we fought it out and now here we are, you know? That makes those moments make that relationship so much more meaningful and so much more special in that sense, right? So I always encourage people to do that. It's so much easier and another thing too is even though you may know or you feel you may know your partner entirely 110%, normally when you go through these types of scenarios, you learn a lot more about your partner, like different angles too. And now you have a better understanding. Not to say that you didn't understand them before, but now you see a different side, you see a different understanding. And if it's a good thing, now it makes you appreciate your decision that much more because you're like, oh, well, I didn't even notice that about him. And oh, wow, okay. Like now my judgment is good because now this guy is like amazing or whatever, right? So these things are
Well,
meant to happen.
I know what happened in my eyes. I know that I became very insensitive. I know that put it this way, I saw things happening. I wanted the drugs to stop. Well, they did. I wanted the other drugs to stop. They did. I wanted the hard liquor to stop. They did. But I saw this individual, even in the depth of his darkness, as a great man who needed to get yanked out of that because his worth was, you know what I mean? You see
Yeah, no,
somebody
sure.
in that, and it's not just, you can't, no, no. All of that stopped Wendell. He made every single change he had to make me happy. Not even doing it for himself. Later on, to finally embrace it for himself, to stay clean
Yeah.
with no rehab, no AA, no CA, none of NA, none of that stuff, Wendell. It's
Hmm.
all me and him.
Nice.
So if he could come this far in a year in this accelerated,
Yeah. Progress. Yeah.
hey, you know what? I better step the fuck off and give him some time to adjust before I sit there with, well, I want this now and I want this now. And hey, you know what, Toby? Cool your jets, fuck. Look at everything he's already done for you in a
Yeah.
year. Look at how many times you've already thrown him to the curb, and he
Still,
refuses. He's like, Toby, no, I didn't get sober to live my life without you. No. So that right there, I should be hearing that, right?
yeah, absolutely.
And that's why I'm sticking it out.
Good. That's a good thing. Yeah, you gotta stick that out. Because you
If
know
he
what?
was worth it, if he was worth it at the beginning, when he couldn't even see his own worth, and now completely 720 to, he's the head of his department at work.
That's pretty impressive.
So from that point to this point in a year, Wendell, I better give him a damn break.
Right.
But the problem is, all the other women, they're seeing what's happening here,
Yeah, they're seeing the cha-ching. That's what I think they're seeing.
and they're trying to, oh,
Hmm.
let me get some of that. Let me get some
Or
of that.
or another thing that they could be doing is they know where you are with him, and they're just trying to throw the stick in your spokes, right? Because people are always, especially women don't like to see other women happy with someone that they think they can be happier with, if that makes any sense.
Yes, completely.
Yeah.
Completely, because you know what? Another woman had the audacity to tell me, well, I think he would just be happier with me.
Yeah.
And so I said, why do you think that? And you know what she told me? She said, look at me. Simple.
Wow.
But guess
Wow.
what? That shows the state of up here.
Right.
And her look at me could never have supported him for the change that's happened. So that's okay.
That's funny.
So I gotta laugh. I have to laugh. I just have to laugh. But no, I am good. You know, I'm going to be transparent with it. I think I would be totally retarded to walk away from him right now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And I've
Oh
realized that now. Not only did he save my life during all of his transition, because he's the one that saved me when I had the heart attack.
yeah. I remember you were telling me the story a little bit there.
So, you know, I got to just be a little bit more sensitive to myself and to him. You know, because we wake up and we forget about everything we've been through. We're just looking at the moment right now and the heat of it, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes. Like in my situation, I can say, when I
Yeah.
wake up, I'm dealing with the immediate. I'm not thinking about yesterday and a week ago unless that shit's triggered.
Okay. Yeah.
Seriously. I know your time's limited. We came on late. Do you want to come on the lives a little later in the morning? Because I find when I come on at 7, you're not up, like you're not
Yeah.
ready.
Because I just get up, I shower quickly, then I have my coffee, and then I'm ready to go. But
Well, this
um,
is it. I don't want you to rush. I want you, when we're doing the lives, for you to be ready and not to have to, you know.
yeah, because the thing is just that I have to leave by a certain time too, right? And I don't want
Yeah.
to like times when we get into a discussion. That's why I kind of give like an hour cushion so that this way, like if it does go a little bit, over, then I could just be like, oh, okay, you know what, we got to stop this because I need to go, right? But like I don't want to like pressure it to a shorter time either. So I think it's more. it's like we've been. I think this time, like the same time we usually do it, like 5:30 my time. So I don't know what I think that's 7:30
That's
your time.
7:30 my time,
Yeah, I
I
think
think.
five. Yeah, or five. Yeah,
But
five
that's
thirty.
okay. So no, that's perfect. So tomorrow morning we'll do that then. So you know what you want to take, because I know you're running out of time right now. Do you want to take the floor for a couple of minutes and chat? I know this morning was kind of thrown off all around because it was, you know, whatever, but we're back out here.
We're always back out here, right? You know. I'm just trying to think about.
So I'll give you the floor and let you say whatever you want to before we wrap up.
Okay, so like women and men need to understand certain things about each other, right? So women are more on an emotional side, men are more on the reactive side. So sometimes when men react a certain way, it's very important that women or their partners need to ask them exactly what that reaction is pertaining to, because sometimes, you know, men may do things that kind of give you a signal that, hey, I want to talk. A guy is not really gonna come up to you and say, hey, I need to talk to you about something, or unless it's absolutely important. But if they're talking about their feelings, that's one thing that we struggle with as men. We don't like to talk about our feelings much because we misinterpret that we're still human as a part of being a man, right? So a lot of men have it they struggle with this, and I know a lot of female friends that are married and or in a relationship. They tell me all the time, they say the same thing, like, how do I get my man to open up to me? Like, I feel like there's something going on, but I just don't know how to do it. So I'm saying that just to kind of reiterate the facts that we need men and women in order to have effective communication within each other. We need to open up and share what we can share our happy times, but we got to share the dark moments too. That's if you are personally invested in that person, because a lot of um, a lot of our emotions and a lot of our experiences and a lot of our feelings is usually what ends up ending the relationship because it wasn't addressed at the time that it needed to be addressed. It usually gets addressed later on when it's too late, when the damage is already done. So pay attention to your partner's feelings, pay attention to your partner's emotions. When you go to address them or you try to pull that information out of them, use your words wisely, because sometimes, people get sensitive, they might react a certain way, and then now you're trying to help the person, and now you end up in a situation where you got to help yourself first, if you understand what the connection I'm trying to make here. So, yeah, just choose your partner wisely. Make sure effective communication is maintained, and don't be afraid to dig into that emotional bank of that partner of yours, because a lot of guys and women like to lock it up because of hurt, past issues, whatever the case may be. And I think that most of them will be more receptive to discuss with you if you go about it the right way, you know? Like, don't judge the person based on their past. Don't assume that they've been through this horrible thing just because they don't want to talk about it. It could be something as subtle, but they just don't want to talk about it because they just haven't had the right person ask them in the right way on how to discuss that. So that's about it. Pay attention to your partner.
Love and light, my brother. I'm happy to see you out here again. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
really happy. I'm really happy. Okay, so everybody out there watching, I'm really grateful for all of you guys. I'm really happy that you guys are out here, and I'm really happy that we're back out here. And, life throws us hiccups and curveballs and all that good stuff, but it's okay. It's okay. You got to be okay, and you got to not react. Just don't react, respond, take the time, analyze. We're all going through changes. We go through changes every day. You got to be a little more sensitive to who you are and your needs, and maybe the other person that's next to you. I know I had to. It's been a big lesson for me over the past week that I have, yes, even though, it's hard for me. But hey, I had to take a step back and say, hey, I can just imagine how hard it's been for him. Okay. And, love yourself primarily. unconditionally and be loving in all that you say and do, and you will get it right no matter what. Hey, in your experience, nothing matters more than you do. You matter the most. Get it right. All right? Put yourself first. You see limits, get creative. You see an obstacle, it's an opportunity. See a setback, it's redirection. All right? Time to grow. A seed doesn't stop the minute it starts to sprout. It keeps going. Okay, and that's what you're expected to do too in life. Learn as much as you can. All right, love and light. You're sourced by an infinite, unconditional love that loves you, no matter what. Or you would have been ripped out of this experience a long time ago. All right, create win-win situations for yourself and others. Get it right today. All right, because you matter the most. Love and light, my brother. Have an awesome day.
Sister, you too.
All right, everybody. Love you all. Get a great day in. All right, we'll be out here again tomorrow. Peace.
Peace.